Hello, this is David Lasher from Keen 360. Welcome to our overview of the key functionality to our pre-configured solution for constituent services. This solution is for legislative offices and executive agencies that are looking to take their own constituent services to a whole new level. This solution of ours, like all of our pre-configured solutions for CRM, is powered by the Creatio platform for BPM and CRM. This low-code platform might not be well known to you, but it is well regarded and well rated by industry professionals and analysts like Gartner that we see here. Let's jump into the solution itself. For any CRM solution, whether it's constituent relationship management or customer relationship management, the core, the heart, is the organizations, the people, and the interactions or activities that we have with them. We're starting with the organizations here. We have a list, and what we're looking at is a subset of all the organizations in our database that are the cabinet departments in the state of Maryland. Over here in this panel, at our fingertips, we have predefined queries or folders to look at different slices of the records that represent organizations in our database. We've modeled out the executive branch, the legislative branch, governmental jurisdictions. All of these different types of entities and the relationships between them are capable of being modeled and maintained within our solution. This is different than some of the competing CRM solutions that are in the governmental space that are alternatives to what you're looking at here. Now let's step into a record for the Department of Health in the state of Maryland. What we see here is that we can collect all the different types of communication information that we might want to collect for the organization: phone numbers, websites, emails, and addresses, a primary address, but multiple addresses. Profile information for segmenting or categorizing the different types of organizations, but more interesting, more relevant, the ability to set up the different offices that might exist within a given account. So what we see here for the Department of Health is the different key offices, and then once those are defined, we are able to indicate who are the persons in which positions for those offices. We're able to keep track of who the current individuals are and who, through start and end dates, the past holders of these positions might have been. Very important within the governmental realm, we're also able to model affiliations, hierarchical or otherwise, between different accounts. Right here we see the Department of Health and the four administrations, the four large administrations that compose it. We can see the department in line with its sibling agencies within the cabinet, all rolling up to compose the executive branch of government at state level in Maryland. Let's go ahead, having looked at some of the highlights of organizations or accounts, at people or contacts. Again, we see the same setup. We see a list here of individuals or persons. We see here that we're looking at current legislators only, or as a subset of the records in the database. And there's about 2.1 million records in this database, representing the many citizens or constituents that are the basis of this instance. You can see here that we, again, have the opportunity to create folders with different types or categories of individuals. We're even able to have at our fingertips queries or folders that will show us everyone, all the constituents with whom we have open cases, able to show everybody with whom we have follow-ups from coffee clatch meetings with constituents. Right? So all of that available and configurable to us. Let's step into the record for Senator Jennings, who's a friend of Keen 360. And what we see is that, again, we're able to collect all the kinds of communication information that we would want for an individual, the different addresses, including their personal addresses, like their legislative and district offices. Profile information allows us to categorize or segment our contact records, our people records, and In our pre-configured solution, we have the ability to enter voting and political information that might be available to an elected member from the voting rolls at the Board of Elections. We're able to track the past and current jobs that any individual might have, and for an elected member, such as Senator Jennings that we're looking at, we can see the many committees, delegations, caucuses to which he belongs. We again can track start and end dates and which ones are current and which ones are primary. With the relationships, we can also do householding. If we have a lobbyist or advocate, we can track who their clients are. Now, having looked a little bit at organizations and people, let's start to look at types of interactions we might have. Activities can be either tasks or meetings, and the meetings and tasks perform as anyone would expect of a modern CRM system. And yes, the integration with Microsoft Exchange Outlook and G Suite Google is quite straightforward. What we're looking at here is a view of meetings and some functionality, a tab that's arranged specifically for the type of work that legislative offices or executive agencies might be engaged in. The scenario here is that there is a constituent meeting. It is at a local cafe or coffee house, and what we have done is, through the system or otherwise, we have invited individuals to come to the meeting, and we are keeping track of who's attended as they show up. We're able to create sign-in sheets automatically that merge in the information for this specific meeting. And then what is of perhaps most interest is that as the meeting is actually proceeding, and there's a staffer presumably over to the side with a laptop, they are able to capture as each meeting participant raises their hand and expresses a position on a bill or a policy question, or says that they have a matter that requires follow-up and that's in the nature of casework. We can capture that in the moment in the meeting, who it is and who we need to route this to when we get back to the office the next day. This enables us to, in the moment, with accuracy, capture what our constituents need and then make sure that we're following up for them. Please note as well, specific to the legislative domain, the governmental domain, that we're able to keep different kinds of calendars that might be valuable to our office. Let's move on to casework itself. Now, we all know that casework comes in many different types or categories. That's what we see right here. It might be something as simple as a courtesy, arranging a tour of the state capitol, or it might be classic kinds of casework, sometimes non-specified, sometimes a specific type of casework. For any one of these entries, for any type of service that we're providing or case that we're working upon, what we are able to do is define the stages through which that case moves in its life cycle. At any given transition point, we can fire off alerts or emails to relevant parties. We can collect the interactions with all engaged individuals for casework. We can expose, though I'm not going to show it here, a portal page so the constituent can come in and check on the status of their case or provide updates on their case. And because we have all of that information along with timestamps, what we were able to do is actually monitor and manage the work that our office is engaged in. We're able to see the volumes of requests and that we're receiving over time, the types of requests. We're able to see red, yellow, green based on thresholds that we defined, how we're performing. We're able to find cases that might be lagging and therefore require some priority follow-up. All of this is easily configured. We can have reports based on events like COVID-19, or we can have report outs on how we're doing with routine work like processing applications and renewals of notary public commissions. All of the data, besides being in the system and available for reports, can be displayed in grid form and then exported to Excel for sharing with others outside the system or doing work in Excel, for example, pivot tables. What this does is allow the office to begin to operate in terms of a service organization instead of a respond to the latest crisis organization. What we see here might look like an email inbox, but it's not. It's actually a queue. And the distinction is subtle, but it's important. What we're doing is we're taking staff, we're enabling staff to transform from being mere email jockeys in Microsoft Outlook, say, to being true service agents using what are labeled inboxes for convenience sake, but are really queues. And what we have here is that the office is able to take its incoming stream of constituent-related emails, triage them, and then put them into queues that the relevant individuals or teams can follow up upon. Sometimes it's a high priority matter that requires immediate attention. Sometimes it's in the nature of regular casework that we do in our weekly routines. Sometimes it might be emails that have come in about legislative bills or policy questions. And sometimes we might want to set aside an email because it has important information, new contact information that we want to be able to harvest. By using queues instead of folders within an inbox, we're actually able to route, report upon, and manage the incoming stream of requests from our constituents. So what do the emails look like? Well, they look very familiar. We have our header information at the top and the body of the email in the middle of our screen on the first tab. And what we're looking at right now is an email that we generated automatically upon the launch of a case for a constituent who was concerned about their unemployment insurance claims. As you can see, we use merge fields to personalize the email, and we also have the office information at the bottom. And very important, we use an ID down here to track correspondence and keep threads of information together so that we can see the whole context of the conversation. The connections to the related case are maintained automatically. Connections to accounts, which are organizations or contacts, are maintained. This gives us the 360-degree view that is vital to efficient and effective service to customers or constituents. Finally, just would point out that within the context of the email, if there is information that looks new to us and we want to see if the record is already in the database, maybe update or create with new email address, new phone number, we're able to do so with these fields right in the screen for working on emails. Before closing out, I want to re-emphasize that our solutions being powered by Creatio, a full-fledged BPM and CRM platform. We have available to us the ability to integrate with Exchange Server, G Suite in a very straightforward manner. We can integrate even with phone systems, PBX, voice over IP, and we can do so in literally a day or two. Integration with other systems outside the CRM platform, are very straightforward using REST API methods. Finally, in the governmental domain, it's important for the principals within an office and the staff within the office to have information at their fingertips at all times. And so, yes, there is a mobile app, and it's a good one available at the Android store or the iOS store, the Apple store. The apps allow account and contact information, activity and meeting information, case information, any information that the office might choose to be available on the phones, both online and offline, synchronized with the centralized database. That brings us to the end of this overview of our constituent services solution powered by Creatio. If it looked intriguing to you, if it looked like it might solve problems for your organization, might enable your team to take its constituent service to a whole new level, we would love to hear from you for what's possible at a more deliberate pace and with a deeper dive. You can reach us via email at info@keen360.com, or you can go to our website in the Contact Us page and drop us a note like this. Thanks for taking the time. We look forward to hearing from you.